Yo, what's going on, everybody? So good to see you guys here. I'm back for today. Anyway, we'll see kind of how things go the rest of the week. Yesterday, well, first of all, let's start with the date. Today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2020. It's one of those lucky days in my mind because 8/12, like August 12th, 8/12, 8 plus 12 is 20. I love days like that when the numbers add up. So I like that. So today's a lucky day. But I'm here today. I wasn't here yesterday, and I couldn't let you guys know about it until like it was way too late. And I apologize for that. But I kind of forgot that when I was helping out my brother-in-law with my in-laws. We went over down to Cedar Rapids where my brother-in-law lives, and I forgot that once we kind of like get close to there, like all the cell service is all screwy, and so I didn't have any ability to really communicate with the outside world. So like I think every once in a while like a text would go through, but if it had a picture it wouldn't, or like even just trying to like tweet text to like Twitter like really wouldn't work that well either. And so I tried to like post that I wasn't gonna have a live stream, but it wasn't until like it was way late, so sorry about that. I'll tell you more about it, but first let's do the roll call. Let's see who's here. We've got not really Hank Aaron, 51 minutes early. Strong wind blew him in. Gotta love that tailwind. Lewis Cameron says, what's going on? Time Matt says, hey y'all. Jonathan Fan. JC Meredith Roseman says, hey, with lots of Y's at the end of that. Chris Dyke says, hey folks. Chris Yao says, checking in from Miami. Hopefully you're doing well down there. Not really Hank Aaron says they should play Kofuzi in the building instead of XRT. You know, it makes me think that like I would like if there was ever like a running like 24-hour like news network, or like a running channel like on TV, or if there were like a running radio channel like a Sirius like XM kind of thing, I think I could host the spot. I could fill in like a long block, like I don't know, like graveyard shift, like 2 to 4 in the morning. I could totally fill that. I would love that. Let's see, we got JC here. Great, I saw that already. See, Steve says, hey all, thunder and lightning here. Oh, hope you're okay. Recycle on Wednesdays. Terrence Huey, Steven Gersdorf coming in from California. Nice. Louis Becerra, Martha's here as well. Rain Runner and KCA. Good to see you guys. Always a fun. Baxter says, good evening, everyone. Very cool. Jennifer Herring says, there's thunder and lightning in New Jersey. And glad I didn't have French bread pizza Monday, as I still have burnt roof of my mouth. Awesome. Mark Chain Coco says, what's up? What's up, everyone? And CV76 says, yo, what's going on? Very cool. All right. So, like yesterday, what ended up happening was, we were thinking as we left my brother-in-law after we had like cut down like as much as we could of that giant tree that was on the car and blocking the alley and the driveway. We're like, what's he gonna do? I think that the plan is that like they're not gonna fix all of that the estimate at that time was like 5 to 10 days for power. That's not internet. That's like phone lines. Who knows when the cell towers will come back up? But like, I always thought that in an emergency, like cell towers would be a little bit more resilient than power, but it doesn't really seem to be the case. Sorry, I'm a little bit bright here. Try to turn that down a little bit. So we're like, what are we gonna do? So we thought about like, well, let's. I was like texting my wife, like, let's figure out generators. Is that something we can do, or is that something that like, requires like an electrician and like, union labor and like people that know like what they're doing and have training with those kinds of things, or can like someone like me figure that out? So there was more talk about it once we got home, and we're like, let's see if we can get one. Not even sure we could get one. But another one of the aunts who has her children live in the Cedar Rapids area. She lives in the Cedar Rapids area too. Her house didn't get hit as bad, and they were like basically what people were doing is from Cedar Rapids area, like going like you would just go further and further out to see like who had what, right? And so they had driven all the way past here up to Piasta, so like really far away, to finally find a place that had some generators. And so we went to this place called Mighty M. And it was a surreal experience going there. And basically there's a factory and a sales floor. And at the factory they were making them and like just driving, like put them on like a trailer that was connected to like just someone's regular pickup truck. And they were bringing them from the factory back over to the sales area, and they were just selling them as fast as they could make them essentially. So we were able to buy two. We bought one for another family member, they wanted us to pick up one for them, and then we brought one to my brother-in-law's house, and we got it set up. And it was like the day before, I wasn't that useful because I don't know how to use a chainsaw or help direct someone using a chainsaw or any of that stuff. I can help with like debris removal, so like I was just picking up like the scraps and the twigs and the branches and the logs and all that. But I felt like I was a little bit more useful yesterday because we had to like assemble like some parts of it. I mean, like the handles to it, the feet and the wheels, and I get that all on there. And my father-in-law is in there trying to get it. And he's like, my hands are too big. I can't get in there. I'm like, dainty fingers, let me get in there. And so I got in there and got all the bolts and stuff on. So I felt very useful, and like I was able to like get down like and look underneath it and find where the choke was and where the fuel lines were to open them up and stuff like that. So like I was able to like, being small and little was pretty useful for me yesterday. So I felt like I was like, this is a day for me. It's my time to shine. So I was able to help out a little bit with that generator there. And then the reason why, like it wasn't supposed to be that long of a day, but then we were like, we only had a 2-gallon gas tank, like a container, like those red ones, and it's a 4-gallon generator, so it'll hold 4 gallons of gas. And so we were trying to get more gas, but because the power was out, none of the gas pumps would work. And so we did the same thing where we like started driving out, like next town over. Do they have gas stations that are open? Nope. Move to the next one, and move to the next one. And we almost drove all the way back here. We had to drive like an hour out to find a gas station. Well, the first 2 towns that we found stuff, the lines were super long, and we're like, it's going to be like a 2-hour, that looks like a 2-hour line. And so we kept driving further and further back till we found a place where we can pretty much not walk up, but like we didn't have to wait too long to get gas. And we brought it back to kind of refill and stock them up a little bit on gas to have. So it just took a long time. It was a lot of like stuff. So, but they got the generator up and running. They were to plug in like their fridge, their freezer. They can run a microwave off it if they need that. Their stove is gas, so they can cook. I think they have hot water, so that's still going for them. But like they've got like a hole in their roof, and they're trying to figure out like how to get like a tree cutting service over and all that stuff. They're trying to get in touch with insurance. Just like a lot of like still cleanup happening. So yeah. All right, Lewis, sorry about that. That was a long story, but I just want to give you guys an update on kind of like, I think that's kind of everything that happened. You're still seeing like there's just still a lot of cleanup to happen. That's left over there. So we're not going to go today, but we think we are going to head back tomorrow. Get them a propane tank so they could grill outside and like cook outside and have that as another way of like eating. Like all the fast food restaurants and all the restaurants and even like the Walmart and stuff, most of that's still closed. They don't have electricity yet. So like it's like you could be like, I'll just go out and get food. I won't worry about cooking while I don't have power at home. But it's like, where are you going to go? You have to drive like an hour out to get food. So yeah. So like we're going to do that, and then I think I'm going to give him my headlamp, my running headlamp. I won't need it, but I think he could probably use it. So I think that'll be, I could use it, but like, I've just been not running when it's that dark out. So yeah. So that's what's going on. And everyone's fine. I think that things will improve. It's going to take a long time. And he was supposed to have, he's a new teacher. So, it's his second or maybe third career. And he just went back to get a teaching degree and, passed all his tests and everything. And he got his first job as a teacher. And like his orientation was supposed to be Friday. So I don't know if they're still going to do that or if they're going to push him back to Monday, so we'll see. We'll see. And his girlfriend, she's been a teacher for a long time. But like, she just has, like every teacher in America right now, they have a lot they got to figure out and get done. So, it's just all, adding a lot of more stuff on their plate. So we're just trying to help out in any way that we can, just to make it easier on them. There's a lot, the way I see it is there's a lot of stuff that they specifically have to take care of. Anything that can be done by someone else, I would like to try and do that for them just to help them out. So Jennifer Herring says, sending hugs and prayers to you and the family. Thank you so much. All right, so that's the story. That's what's going on. All right. Shannon says, Cole, good luck with everyone in your family's town. Thank you very much. All right. Recycle on Wednesday says, oh man, what a rough first school year. Yeah, and like, when we were at that place buying the generators, everyone that was in line, we were like standing like socially distanced and stuff. So that was like weird to try and like. It's the first time I like been in like a store. I mean, I went to Happy Joe's inside a couple times now, twice I think, but I really haven't gone inside many places. And to be in there, and everyone's kind of like, "Where did you come from?" to try and get a generator, and everyone pretty much had done the same thing. They were coming from the same place, and one of the people in line behind us, like 2 people behind us, was one of my brother-in-laws, like someone that works with him. So he was like, "Oh, yeah, I teach there too. Oh, I know your son-in-law," like that kind of thing. So it was kind of like small world, but yeah. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. So sorry about like the big rant, but just that I think brings everyone up to kind of speed. Other thing that's going on today, I was periodically I do listen back to some of these podcasts and the videos like after the fact, and I know that the volume has been really low, and I know you guys are probably cranking up just to listen to it at like regular volume, and so I've tried to crank it up a little bit. I think the phone is interfering, not with the microphone, but with like maybe with something that's recording here. And so sometimes I'm getting that like some of that buzzy interference. Putting the phone further away from everything, and I'm also going to I did turn up the volume. So if we get any weird noises, let me know, guys. So hopefully it sounds a little bit better. All right. So what have you guys been up to? Yeah, Derek Dixon said muscles were looking strong, tossing that wood around. Good cross training. I mean, it was kind of fun to like throw all that stuff around. I mean, to the extent like that kind of thing is fun, but I try to, enjoy it to the extent that we could. It was just very different, and just throwing it around. We were throwing some logs in the back of the truck because my father-in-law was like, yeah, I mean, because he's got a fire pit out, and so we were like, well, we'll take it back. And dry it out, use it as firewood. And I was like, I was asking my father-in-law if he has an axe. I'm like, maybe I could try chopping some firewood. And he's like, you're not gonna be chopping this anytime soon. You gotta let it dry out for like a year, otherwise you're not gonna be able to cut it at all. And I was like, interesting fact. I did not know that you had to let the logs dry out before you tried to chop it into smaller like pieces for firewood. But my mind was already getting there. And then after a while, like my father-in-law was like, stop putting wood in the back. We got enough. So like, I mean, there's more there. We just left it on the side of the road for the city to pick up. So, yeah. But it was fun. It was fun. I mean, it wasn't fun, but I tried to make it. I tried to like, at least have fun with that part of it. I mean, it was very gratifying to see like this giant thing like in the driveway in the alley, and then have it like trimmed down, and then clean it up and like kind of like do what we could. That was very satisfying. All right. Let's see. Jeff Elliott says, I made it. Hello. Awesome. All right. John Marshall, you are getting clipping distortion on the video. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. I'll turn it down in 2 places. All right. So, all right. Hopefully that's a little bit better. And there won't be as much clipping. You guys have to let me know. Inez Dunbar says, Kofuzi, the theme for the night is Martha's YouTube channel. I saw you guys talking about that. I didn't know you had a YouTube channel, Martha. So I'll have to go check that out. So I'm very excited to see that. Sharon Marshall says, Happy Joe's in all caps. A couple people you guys have. And here's what I was thinking. I was thinking like when people are sick, you bring over a casserole or whatever just to like, make them know that they're being thought of, and also just make things a little bit easier to the extent that you can. And I was like, we should bring some food. I know they can cook, and we like went through a great deal of effort to get them, the ability to have refrigeration and freezing and, all that. But I'm like, we should just bring over some food. I'm like, my wife's like, bring over Happy Joe's. And I'm like, all right, yeah, but maybe they might want to cook. But she's like, bring over Happy Joe's. so she's like, she keeps harping on it. Because she's like, you could leave pizza out overnight. It's still going to be fine the next day, And I'm like, that's true, I guess. But I'm also thinking, they're probably eating a lot of like whatever they can cook, whatever they happened to have on hand when a storm hit. But there aren't going to be pizza places or anything like that open, so it might be nice to just bring some of that in. So, I'm thinking about it. Tony Massius says, didn't realize how much this group becomes part of the daily routine until it's gone. Yesterday sucked. I'm so sorry to hear that. I missed it too, for sure. Steven Gersdorf says, in an emergency, your brother-in-law could pick some corn from the nearby field and says, wait, is that the one Kofuzi visited, quote unquote? Yeah. I don't, yeah, you know what, the corn, sorry, there's a curtain here and it's really windy, so it's like the wind just really destroyed a lot of the corn in the area too, so I don't think he could do that. But we were thinking about bringing over some sweet corn for him, because it's a good time of year to be eating the corn. It's delicious right now and it's not going to last much longer. So like every meal here has been like a large serving of corn on the cob, and it's just delicious. My mother-in-law and I are in agreement that we just need to eat it until we're sick of it. So we're not sick of it yet, so we need to be eating more of it. Because then you're not going to get it until like another year from now. So you gotta do something about it. On that note, though, a mile into my run today, I did have to stop and poop in the corn again. A different cornfield this time, but it was something that happened. Yeah, I even went to the bathroom this morning, which wasn't the case the earlier time we've been talking about. But yeah, a mile in, almost like a mile on the dot, and I was like, I'm gonna have to stop. And I was in a really good spot for it too. I took a different road than I've been taking lately, and that one is really like empty. I almost never see another vehicle on that road, and so I was like, this is the perfect time. And like you can't even see, like the field is giant at that spot, and you can't even really see where like the farmhouse is. It's really far away. So I'm like, this isn't gonna bother anybody. So I went for it. I had to. I mean, I guess I could have like gone home and then, but then it would have added another 2 miles to the run, and I didn't want to run that far today. So, yeah. All right. Sean Marshall saying Mike is clipping a bit today. All right. So I just changed it. So let me know again, guys, after 3:17 if it's clipping still. So we'll go with that. Tony Bui says, are you naturally slim or you have a clean diet? I think it's a little of the first. I'm a little bit more on the naturally slim side, although with age your metabolism slows down, so I haven't in every single year of my adulthood been slim, but my diet is not that clean, although it's a phrase that I'm like liking a little bit less. I've been less, I guess. I don't know what better phrase there is for it. I know I use the phrase a lot too. Yeah. So I eat a lot of junk food. Not as much now that I'm not at work. I knew this already because I've done like the what I eat in a week video, and it's just like documented with photographs every single thing I put in my mouth for an entire week. So I do eat a lot of junk food, but like I was also buying lunch at work, so eating from like fast food places every day. I mean, not necessarily like fast food. It's not like I was having Whoppers or Big Macs every day, but I was buying lunch every day. So, yeah. So, since then the diet has changed a little bit, but I've always been like the little skinny kid, growing up. So, yeah. Steven Gersdorf says, Kofuzi, you must have to eat 10,000 calories a day. I think I need to eat about 3,000. Like if I go for like a 10-mile run, which is kind of my average, for, when I'm not like in a training block or in any other specific kind of training, that usually costs me about 1,000 calories, at least according to my watch. And so, I figure I probably need about 3,000. If the USDA is like 2,000, I think I need about 3. Although, like, on rest days, like, on Garmin, it tells you, like, how many calories you're burning throughout the day. And if I recall correctly, like, even on a rest day, I was burning close somewhere around, like, 22. So maybe I need a little bit more than 3,000 a day to kind of, like, just keep going. I try to, like, go over that with plant proteins and just, like, other things, like a lot of lentils, tofu. I don't eat a lot of I haven't been eating a lot of tofu during the pandemic. I have been eating a lot of beans. Not as many lentils since we've been in this house. I ate a lot of lentils in Guttenberg. I don't know. I think I've been going through spurts of things. Yeah. Chris Dyke says, haven't been paying attention to comments. Did we already say it? Kofuzi? That's good. I like that one a lot. I don't think I've seen that so far. Yeah. Dr. Funk 1216 says, recommend me a good 80s movie. The cheesier, the better. I'd say one of my favorite 80s movies. I think it was 80s movies is Adventures in Babysitting. That's a great movie. Yeah. Anyone else? Let me know what you guys think. Yeah. Let's see. Tony Bui says, what bike did you get? I didn't get a bike. Oh, Chris Yao has a bike. Oh, cool. That was something I was like, today is the day. We're not going down to Cedar Rapids today. I'm going to order a bike. And then I was like, maybe I should go to the Dubuque Bike Co-op. So there's a co-op here, and I don't know if they're a charity or not, or exactly what the full like spectrum of their like mission is. But at least what they're doing is like saving bikes from the landfill, like refixing them up and selling them for pretty cheap. So I was thinking about that, but then I was just like, I just don't know what the sizes are on bikes. I just don't know how to order a bike. So I'm kind of like having a hard time with that. My wife is as well. So like, I don't know. It's just like we're paralyzed with options. I wish they sold bikes by height, and I know like it's better that they have different height measurements, whether it's wheel size or like the size from like the pedal to the something else on the fork or the frame. I don't know. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Steven Gersdorf picked Spaceballs. Oh, I love that movie. I think we've talked about it on the live stream before, where for the longest time I thought that there was supposed to be a sequel to Spaceball, and I thought it was supposed to be called Spaceballs 3: The Search for 2. I mean, me and my friends were convinced that it was supposed to happen, and it just never did, and we couldn't figure out why. I would have loved the Spaceballs sequel. Yeah. Whoa, Jeff Elliott says, I made tofu in the waffle iron on Monday, and it worked really well. Hey, you probably have to spray that down pretty good, huh? Otherwise, you would just have like mashed tofu in there, like burnt onto your waffle iron. But that's interesting. I like that idea, because then you could put like soy sauce in it, and it would pool like in the waffle iron parts. That'd be funny. Or some other sauce. Like if you made like a teriyaki style sauce for it, that'd be good. Frank LaHoulier likes Big Trouble in Little China. One of my good friends that lives down in Austin, that's his favorite movie. And another one of my good friends from college, he loves it. I think because that movie is frequently used as, he's a film studies major, and that movie is frequently used as like for teaching on like script writing and just a lot of other film concepts. And it's a movie that like so many people have tried to get me to see it. I just never have bothered to sit down to watch it. Ines Dunbar says Electric Dreams from 1984. I've never heard of that movie. Ty Matt says, in regards to running and pooping, if we have to carry bags to pick up after dogs, should we run with little shovels just in case we gotta go? I mean, maybe. I mean, I think that like if you're I feel like if you were running, maybe if you're running in like a national park or some sort of forest preserve area, I'm sure it's not great for me to poop by corn on the roadside. I don't know. Maybe I should. I think maybe I should have just run home. I really should have just run home. I got selfish, I think. So I'm kind of regretting it now, but yeah, but maybe. And Martha says, should we get non-elite shovels? Yeah, I remember like for a while on the internet, there was like videos going around about like a guy who had made like the perfect indestructible like apocalypse shovel, and it like folded down, and like you would twist parts of it into other parts, and then you could use it to drill holes as well. And then the shovel part, the blade could use to break windshield glass, like if you're trapped inside a car. And I had no need for a shovel, but now I'm like, I kind of wish I had that shovel because it was pretty small. I could fit it into like a pack, I think. But I don't know. I think that would hurt to run with like that kind of shovel inside like a pack meant for like water, you know? All right. Natanification and not really Hank Aaron telling me to buy a bike in person and don't guess. J. Mike Remy saying, go to the shop. You need to get measured. There are a lot of configuration options. A centimeter off makes a huge difference. See, that terrifies me now, though. Yeah. I gotta see what kind of like bike shops there would be in Dubuque. I mean, I'm sure there's got to be ones in Cedar Rapids where my brother-in-law is, because he's an avid cyclist. So like he and one of my other brothers-in-law, they bicycle all over the place. The other brother-in-law, he's got like 4 or 5 different bikes. He's got like a fat bike, he's got a road bike, he's got other bikes. The hybrid. I mean, I think I've exhausted all the bicycle terminology I know already, but he's got all sorts of bikes. So I mean, yeah, I know bicycling is big here in the state, and I'd like to get involved in it. Part of me is just like, I'm just gonna buy one from Dick's Sporting Goods and like just be done with it. And then once I figure out like where this bike isn't, good for me, then I'll get another one maybe. I don't know. I just don't want to. I feel like it's to the point, and this is a problem that I have typically, is whenever there's like a lot of things to consider when making a decision, I just like too much to think about, and I'll just jump into something and then figure some more stuff out as I go. It's kind of an expensive way to do things, though. I think I'm still too bright today. What happened there? All right. There. All right. Yeah, Natanification says it might cost a couple $100, but they'll put you on a correct size bike. Yeah. Tony Bui says, Kofuzi, if you get a bike, then you get to experience some way different scenery. He said, I don't have a car, and I have to run from home. I like to bike far, then run somewhere new every day. Yeah. I mean, that's the idea, is I'd like to do some bicycling, because like the road from here to Guttenberg, for example, I do see bicycles on it pretty frequently. I wouldn't feel comfortable running on it, so I'm not sure how much I'd like bicycling on it, but there are some pretty intense hills, like 7 or 8% grade for like over a mile at a time. And so I feel like that'd be pretty good workout. I mean, I don't know how, I think it's maybe 15 miles from here. So I could bike over there, then run in Guttenberg, and then bike back. That'd be a real hard day. But that'd be pretty fun. So that's like the kind of thing that I'd like to do. Or like then if I do the Heritage Trail, if I run it again, I could put a bike at the end of it and then drive back to the start, run it, and then bike back when I'm done. So I think it'd just open up some more options too, and also just for my rest days to bike, and also but the main thing would be to bike with the family. Timmy Pim says, how much do you think the Pegasus 37 will cost during Black Friday? I'm not sure. Does Nike do a lot of Black Friday deals? I haven't kept a close eye on it. I think though that you might, by then you could get it from a lot of the other retailers like Foot Locker, Foot Action. Does Foot Action still exist? Like the sporting goods stores like Dick's or Hibbett's. Does Hibbett's still exist too? Champs Sport, that kind of thing. East Bay might be able to get it too. Frank Lahulier says The Three Amigos is a movie from the 80s he likes, and asks in parentheses, are all of these slightly racially insensitive? Yeah, I do think that a lot of the things that we all thought were funny in the 80s and early 90s are by today's standards are considered like a little, if not very, racially insensitive. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where else to go with that. Super Schmaltz likes Uncle Buck, which I think is a great movie. That is a great movie. I've also really liked The Great Outdoors. I thought that movie was hilarious. I don't know if that's racially insensitive or not. Maybe it's offensive to Canadians. There was a lot of movies with Canadians in them that I think always made fun of Canadians. Was it Strange Brew? That one? That's a funny movie. That's a weird movie. All right. Jeff Elliott says with his tofu in the waffle iron, said use Pam, of course, like a nonstick spray, and then just cut it up and put it over rice and greens with sauces. That sounds pretty good. I mean, that's a great way to make it, because I feel like then you get a nice crisp on it, which is nice because when you get you got to get the two textures when you're eating tofu. That's always like key, but it's hard to get sometimes. Because usually for me, I'm so impatient, my tofu is always too wet. And so it doesn't get like, it just gets like burnt and then soggy on the inside. So I might have to try that, but I might maybe get a Foreman grill then instead, because I think my wife and the kids would be pretty mad if like I was starting to put like if I started making like sandwiches and paninis and like tofu in their like waffle iron. Like the one waffle iron that we brought from Chicago with us is like a small one, like makes little like dollar pancake size ones, and it has like snowflakes as the design in it. So like that's one for like the children to eat waffles with. Jeff Elliott says it helps get more of the liquid out and it browns it more. I think you're onto something. JC says RoboCop the movie is pretty bad, so bad it's good. Partly filmed close to where I once lived. Yeah, I remember that movie terrified me. I saw that when I was way too young. And that initial scene when when RoboCop, before he's RoboCop, that was just like, as I was watching it, I was like, I'm too young to watch this. Like it's one of those moments. Burley Guest says, I never succeeded in watching The Godfather completely. Halfway the first movie, I always fall asleep. Yeah, it took me a while to get through The Godfather. I didn't love them. Yeah, I don't know if that's like not a popular opinion to have, but like I think also it's because I watched other like mafia / gang like movies in that genre first. I watched a lot of other movies in the genre that genre first. I think I probably even saw like The Sopranos first, and then came back to The Godfather. So it was like a different experience, I think, for me. All right, Ricky S says, "What's the best running shoes? Choose one." Nike Pegasus 33 Shield. Steven Gersdorf says, "Back to the Future, fantastic movies. I love the entire trilogy. I just absolutely love those movies. Yeah. I think we refer back to that movie. I think it's been a theme that we've constantly like made references to that movie throughout the live stream." Time Matt says, "Poop regret is the worst regret." That's so funny. Let's see. Persona asks, question: do you think you review the Tempo Next Percent? I don't think so. All those shoes are so weird, and I think there's a lot of other shoes that I think that I will focus my attention on instead. Tony says, watch Encino Man. I did like that movie as well, but I also liked Son-in-Law and Bubble Boy. So I mean, I like a lot of bad movies. So. Daniel Hernandez says, "Hi Kofuzi, what do you like listening to on your runs?" I usually like to listen to audiobooks or podcasts these days. If it's a workout, I'll listen to music, and so then I usually like to listen to something that's a little bit more like just intense. But just like anything that's hard charging kind of music, from techno to rap to hard rock, so whatever. And then so that's what I kind of listen to. Today's podcast, I listened to a new one that I thought was good. It was with Danny Moreno was the guest, and I think the podcast name is the Train for Ultra, or the Ultra Training Podcast or something like that. That was pretty good. That was a good conversation. I enjoyed that one. The conversation I listened to on yesterday's run was Morning Shakeout podcast, which I'm a big fan of, and that with Mario Fraioli. That was a good one. I like that one too. Tony says Top Gun for his movie from the 80s, and Steven Gersdorf reminding us that Godfather is from the 70s. Are all three of them from the 70s, though? I'm not sure about that. I don't actually know. Franklin Hoolier advising me to watch The Godfather scene by scene, and each individual scene is a gem. There is a podcast that goes over the movie minute by minute, right? Each like episode of the podcast is 1 minute or like one scene from the movie, I think. So people really do enjoy that, and I know it's very highly critically acclaimed. I think that I don't have the patience to watch it closely enough for that. I mean, after all, I did tell you that like Encino Man, Bubble Boy, and Son-in-Law are movies that I enjoy. So like that gives you an idea of my caliber or my capacity to critically observe film. KGKDS, a running question, says, have you seen the new China double carbon plate shoe? Would you review it? I've seen it. People have been sending me pictures of it, like direct messaging me on Instagram, and then I've been also seeing it on Ben Johnson's Instagram. I think that if they sent it to me, I would review it. I don't think that they will, and I'm not like asking them to. I would take a look at it, but it's got 2 carbon plates in it, which is an interesting idea. Does the Alpha Fly have 2 carbon plates in it as well? I'm not sure. But yeah, I'll take a look at it. It's weird. It's kind of like the shoe the Meta Racer wanted to be. Not the Meta Racer, the Meta Ride. It's like the shoe the Meta Ride wanted to be, because it's got a giant hole in the middle. It's a speed hole. It makes you go faster, I think. Let's see. Very cool. It says, one random question. What is your daily driver for smartwatches? I'm wearing the Polar Grit X right now. I like that. But I also really enjoy the Apple Watch too. And so lately I've been using the Apple Watch as my like phone in case like I need to call my wife or text somebody to ask for help. Like if I fell or hurt myself, maybe I fell down in a ditch trying to poop in it kind of thing. And also I use it to listen to music so I don't have to carry the phone. It's lighter than the phone and I happen to have it. So I don't know that I'd recommend people buying it for that purpose. Although, I mean, it's not a terrible idea. But, yeah. So those are like kind of the 2 that I wear all the time. Dr. Funk 1216 says, does anyone else here reference The Last Crusade in your daily life by saying you have chosen poorly? I say that to myself a lot, and I'm referring to The Last Crusade. I also enjoy Indiana Jones, the trilogy as well. But I saw those movies, I think in like reverse, or I may have even seen those in reverse order. Although, like, I'm sure I saw Temple of Doom before Last Crusade, but it's kind of hard to say. Yeah, I do think that I saw Temple of Doom very early, because that scene where they're eating like the monkey brain and like the snake that they cut open and eat the little baby snakes, like that is an image seared into my young memory. So, yeah. Lewis M likes Motorhead. That's a good choice. In his Dumbbell also likes from the 80s in terms of movies, Stand By Me from 1986. Very cool. Steven Gerzer says Footloose is also cheesy. Yeah, Footloose. Like I was thinking the other day about the movie Footloose. I've actually never seen it, but my understanding of the premise of the movie is that it's a town where like the kids were coming home from like a dance in the next town over, and then like the child of the mayor or something like that died in a car accident, and so he hated dancing, and so outlawed it in the town. Right? Is that kind of basically the premise of the movie? Like I was thinking about that. I'm like, there's gonna be like cheesy, not 80s movies, but like cheesy like 2020s movies about like social distancing rules and stuff like that now, and like how like the adults are all weird since after the pandemic we like became all phobic about touching each other. I just have a feeling that like that movie is coming. I don't look forward to it. Tony Massey is confirming that no, the Alpha Fly is a single carbon plate. Yes, thank you. Kim Suki Soup says, Kofuzi, can you keep up your running pace while drinking water? I tried it and it went down the wrong pipe. I can run and drink water. I don't have too big of a problem with it, depending on the vessel. If I have a squeeze bottle, it's easier, or like the tube from like a hydration pack, I think I can run decently fast and drink with it. But on the other hand, though, I would also say, like, I mean, there are varying opinions on it. I don't mind slowing down a little bit to drink, especially during like a marathon race where you're drinking from the cup. I'd rather slow down a little bit and drink the whole thing and not choke on it, rather than like try and maintain the same speed for like 20 yards and have it all splash up my nose and like just down myself. So that's kind of like, I don't have a problem with that mentally or like from strategic perspective. Hal Higdon advised his son as well to walk through all the aid stations. Just give yourself a break, but also like make sure you're drinking as much as you need to. And he's like, I advise that to my son, and he he ran in the Olympic trials during his heyday, so it's like it worked for him. So I mean, there's a variety of opinions on it. I know that there are some coaches and running clubs that like will specifically have like workout days where they train like folding the cup and being able to like get everything in without like breaking stride, you know. I just think that might be over. I mean, if that's what your coach is doing and that's what you're into, I don't think it's a problem, but it's not for me. Let's see. JC says, I think Dirty Dancing takes the cheesy crown. Dirty Dancing's been in the news a little bit lately. I don't know if you guys knew. Again, that's another movie that I've never seen and I don't exactly know the premise of. But I do understand that there's a lake that's involved in the movie, and the lake has been dry for the last couple of years or very long time. And there's water starting to like come back to the lake, which has like geologists and other people that study water. I don't know what you call that that kind of person. Very excited because I guess that doesn't happen frequently. So the lake is coming back for Dirty Dancing. Bert Legge says Ghost is the most cheesy movie. Another one that I haven't seen. But Whoopi Goldberg is in that one, right? Yeah. Jeff Elliott says the preacher in Footloose is John Lithgow. I think he plays some really funny villains, doesn't he? Casey A thinks Ghostbusters is a classic, and Roadhouse has that classic '80s cheese as well. Yeah, you know what else has? Wait, was Kindergarten Cop in the '80s? Because that also like the intro scene when like they try to like show how like tough of a cop Arnold Schwarzenegger was before he became the kindergarten cop. Like that just reminds me of like classic like what the '80s thought of like both police and criminals, at least from like a media perspective, and that too also reminds me of one of my favorite movies, which is not an '80s movie at all, but also very much reminds me of Rumble in the Bronx, which I just think is I like a lot of Jackie Chan movies, but yeah, I don't know. There's no point to that. I just sentences. I like Rumble in the Bronx. I also like Kindergarten Cop, one of my favorite movies as well. But yeah, 80s cheese, 80s style cheese if it wasn't from the 80s. KGKD says Monster Squad, Lost Boys, and Weird Science. Yeah, that was a very weird and funny movie. And Burt Legge likes Short Circuit. Johnny Five is alive. Yeah, I remember seeing those as well. I mean, most of these movies I did not. I mean, I think I'm too young to have seen them like in the movie theater for a lot of these, but I did see a lot of these. Like, remember when like TV channels still do this? Like on Saturdays in the afternoon, so you'd have like morning cartoons on Saturdays. Then there'd be a short like transition period where like Knight Rider and Airwolf were on, and then it'd be like ABC Wild World of Sports. Maybe I'm confusing like the timing a little bit on it. And then like later in the afternoon when like no one was watching TV, they'd just have old movies on. And that's where I saw a lot of these movies, I think. Yeah. Martha asks, has anyone seen McFarland USA? A 1987 running movie, also based on a true story, must see for runners? I've never seen that one before. I'll have to check it out. Jody runs like Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox. I watched the cartoon a lot. There was a Teen Wolf cartoon. I really enjoyed it, but I've never seen the movie. Chris Dyke says, there's a good chance I'm tossing on an 80s flick tonight. What I enjoy trying to do is trying to put on these old movies and get my kids to watch them. They never do. But I like to try. It takes a lot of capital though. Like I have to like really like convince them that like I'm good at picking movies. And I have to pick a couple of good ones in a row that they like, you know, that are not from the 80s, and then I'll try to like slide one in there. I don't know. I think this was probably the 90s though. The last one that I tried was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And I really enjoyed that movie because I think I was the exact right age for that movie when it came out. And its progeny, like there was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids 2, right? And then Honey, it wasn't. There was one where they were bigger, right? Wasn't there? What was there one? I don't remember. There's like 2 or 3 of like the Honey, I Something the Kids movies, but I really enjoyed the first one. Yeah, But and I thought that they would like it too, because like the idea of like a giant yard, I thought, and then being shrunken down, I thought they would really enjoy that. But I don't think I got them more than 4 minutes into the movie. They just wouldn't. I even tried fast forwarding it to some more interesting parts. Like, okay, I'll fast forward. Here's what happened. They got shrunk, and now they got to get back home so they can get to regular size again. And scene, and I was like, and here's where I go. And they were like, nope. And so I think that instead they wanted to watch like a Play-Doh YouTube video. So that was my attempt. Sean Marshall says, Kofuzi Run Club is going to break the internet as we are all going to look for 80s movies tonight. Yeah. Jeff Elliott says, I don't think Holes was 80s, but it was great and my kids loved it. I enjoyed that one too. Steve Gergeworth likes Home Alone and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah, good movies. KCA says, love watching trains, planes, and automobiles around Thanksgiving. Is there a reason? Is it a Thanksgiving themed movie? I don't remember. They did a remake of that, right? And then I think they did like a remake of that concept, but it was like a TV series, but it wasn't like, it was like, there was like a, I mean, maybe it was or wasn't based off of that, but like, I remember there was a TV show where like a whole bunch of different people were all like basically forced into having to do this like multi-state, multi-vehicle race to like save their loved ones. Like, it was weird. I don't know if anyone ever watched that. The thing that I remember from it is the girl from the Gladbag commercials was in the series, and I was like, oh, they finally give her some real work. Not that commercials isn't real work, but yeah. All right. Let's see, what do we got here? Where did it go? Louis M says, it sounds like I'm spamming at this point, but everyone please watch The Man Who Killed Hitler and then The Bigfoot. All right. I mean, I keep saying that I'm going to watch all these movies, but I think you guys know me better than that by now. I just never end up watching stuff. But maybe I'll try to get one. I think I do. Sorry, the wind is kicking up. I think I do have the Netflix app on my phone, and maybe I'll put it on when I'm shooting B-roll. Because I go down in the basement to shoot B-roll, and it's like, it's dark because the way I shoot, and I usually have some sort of like podcast or YouTube video on. Instead, I'll just start putting on movies so I can kind of catch up to you guys. I feel like I need to be a little bit more fluent in some of these cultural references. Let's see. Ozenfant Backstro says, action movies aren't really my thing, but Aliens Part 2 is pretty darn awesome. Also, Blade Runner, of course. You know what? I don't think I've watched any of the Aliens movies from beginning to end. At one point, I did see Predator, but I've never seen Predator versus Alien. I thought those were really interesting concepts. And I've never seen Blade Runner. But another movie that I'm pretty sure is from the 80s that is amazing is Bloodsport. And I really love that movie. And then another movie that really should be right up my alley, but I have not ever seen, is Time Cop. I don't know why I've never seen that one. In His Number likes The Shining from 1980. That's a fantastic movie. That is one of those, you can watch that movie scene by scene and like spend forever talking about it. Brilliant. Let's see. Who says They Live? Jeff Elliott wrote They Live. That movie was great. That's the movie where everyone has like the hats and everything that says Obey, and then there's like a brand that brand of clothes that says Obey on the shirt or Obey on the hats now. That was a great movie, wasn't it? I mean, yeah. That's fantastic. That was a good one. Oh man, that was a great movie. Now that I might have to go back and try to watch. I wonder if that's on Netflix. That'd be amazing if that's on Netflix. Louis Pasteur says, I'm a fan of Stephen King movies. Misery is my favorite. I've never seen Misery. I think the only Stephen King movie that I've ever watched is that I know of would be Shawshank Redemption. That's a Stephen King book, right? My wife and I use Shawshank as a verb. And I think I've told you guys this before, but what it refers to in our house, Shawshank, is whenever I don't know how to properly dispose of something, I will break it up into little pieces and send it down our garbage chute in the building. So like we had at one time I was trying to, cause I don't know where like a dump is and I don't have a pickup truck or any vehicle to like take it to the dump. I know this is irresponsible to do, but I just didn't know what else to do. And I think it ties into the earlier statement before about bikes. Once there's too many things for me to try to consider, my mind shuts down and I just kind of do something simple. So one time I tried to surprise my wife. She used to travel 100% for work, and I wanted to surprise her with changing out the countertops in the kitchen. We have a little tiny kitchen. I think a lot of you guys have seen it. And I was just going to replace it because we were at the time, even before we had kids, planning on remodeling the place pretty soon. We still haven't done that yet. And so I was like, I'm just going to keep it simple. This stuff is falling apart, like the laminate on the countertop was peeling up because water had gotten in and even more water was getting in and all the particle board was swelling and it was gross. And so I just replaced it. I measured it out. I took it to like Home Depot, had them cut me another piece to like bring back in. So I had that taken out and then I put the new countertop in and it was great. And then I had this other countertop that I didn't know what to do with. I didn't have even a saw at that time. And so what I did was I put our big tarp down in the living room. And I took our drill and I just poke holes in with the drill, like to perforate the countertop to make it into small enough pieces that it could fit inside regular garbage bags. And I Shawshanked it, taking it from our unit to the garbage chute, and I got rid of it that way. This would have been like 8 or 9 years ago. But like that was the best way I could figure out how to do that. I think I did the same thing another time when my wife was gone on a trip. I wanted to surprise her, and I tiled our entryway. We used to have like carpet everywhere in the unit, and then like even like on the front door when you come in. And what would happen is every winter you have like all the slush and just yuckiness on your boots, and it would get inside the house, and it would just be really disgusting there. And there's always really different colors. So it was like the carpet. So I figured we'll just tile it over, and I'll do it again while my wife's gone. And so I peeled up all the carpet to lay down the tile. And then I had all this carpet that I didn't know how to get disposed of properly. I couldn't figure it out, or I didn't really want to bother figuring it out. So I cut it up into like square foot size pieces, and I Shawshanked it into the garbage. So that's how we use the word Shawshank in our house. Yeah. Don't do what I do. I guess that's not like the right way to do it. And Martha does say that, agreeing that Shawshank Redemption is one of the all-time greats. It is a fantastic movie. I love it. I do love that movie. I'm not really Hank Aaron says Kofuzi's going to be in prison. Yeah, I'm not sure that was an environmentally sound decision. So that is something that I do feel bad about. All right, KGKD says, okay, Cherry, off to binge watch The Expanse. Cool. Shawshank rhymes with Strava Wank. There we go. So maybe there could be a podcast called the Strava Wank Redemption. That'd be funny. People that have been caught Strava wanking get like called out on it and have to like defend themselves or like, confess their sins like on a podcast and explain themselves maybe. That's interesting. All right. All right, I think that's a good place to end it for there. Although Sean Marshall does says, next time you got to poop, Shawshank a hole in the corn stalks and Kofuzi. That's a good way to finish it up for today, tying in all the thoughts from today's live stream. I think that puts it in a nice little bow on it. All right. I had a great time today. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. I don't know that we'll do a live stream tomorrow. I'll let you guys know as early as I can. Like once we head out, when we do, if we do, then I know that we'll probably not make it back in time. And I'm assuming that I won't have cell service to try and do one from Cedar Rapids. So I'll let you guys know. If not, we'll do another live stream on Friday. But we'll also have videos to watch as well. I actually don't know what tomorrow's video is going to be about yet. It'll be a surprise to us all. So in the meantime, hopefully you guys are being safe out there on your runs, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks, everybody.